The graph of the potential energy versus the interatomic distance is useful for representing the interactions between atoms. So if we consider these hydrogen atoms and they come closer together, you start getting some attractive forces between the nuclei and the electrons. And as the atoms keep getting closer and closer together, you start getting repulsion between the electrons when their orbitals overlap. And the repulsive force increases rapidly because the nuclei will also repel each other. And then superimposing the attractive and repulsive forces, you obtain this graph of the force versus the interatomic distance. Now from electricity and magnetism, the force, being a conservative force, is equal to the negative of the slope of the potential energy with respect to the interatomic distance. So therefore at this point, where the attractive force balances the repulsive force, so the net force between the atoms is 0, the potential energy is at a minimum. And this here is called the bond energy, or the energy required to separate the atoms. And this length here is the bond length. So just to give you an idea of the bond between hydrogen atoms, the bond energy is 432 kilojoules per mole, and the bond length is 0.741 angstroms, or 74.1 picometers. And 1 picometer is 10 to the minus 12 meters. Let's look at some of the properties of covalent bonds, using carbon-carbon as an example. So in this ethane molecule, we have a single bond, and we call this a sigma bond, because as we'll see later, the electrons overlap head-on, and out of the three, it has the longest length and the lowest bond energy. So it's easier to break apart. So this double bond in the ethylene molecule consists of one sigma and one pi bond. And the pi bonds are where the electrons overlap side on, which we'll see later. And it has a length between a single and a triple bond. And its bond energy is between that of a single and triple bond. And here we have a triple carbon-carbon bond in the acetylene molecule, which consists of one sigma and two pi bonds. And out of the three, it has the shortest bond length and the highest bond energy. So it's the most difficult to break apart. And note that in these covalent bonds, the bond length is influenced by both the size of the atom's core and the bond order, so single, double or triple. We can understand the strength of the interactions between cations and anions using Coulomb's law. So the Coulomb force in this context is proportional to the positive charge of the cation and the negative charge of the anion, and inversely proportional to the squared distance between them. So for example, if we consider calcium chloride, the calcium cation has a 2+ charge, and each chlorine anion has a negative charge. And if we compare this to sodium chloride, where the cation has a positive 1 charge, and the anion has a negative 1 charge, then the calcium cation in this case carries a 2+ charge compared to the sodium cation. So the interaction between the calcium and chlorine ions is stronger than the interaction between the sodium and chlorine ions. And the other governing factor is that the calcium ion has a smaller ionic radius than the sodium ion. So the distance between the centers of these ions is smaller than the distance between the centers of the sodium and chlorine ions. So therefore, the interactions between the calcium and chlorine ions are again going to be stronger in that regard. And recall that you can determine the trends in the ionic radii using the periodic table as we've done previously.